Iran's foreign minister said that Tehran is ready to engage in diplomacy over its nuclear program, but not while Israel's offensive continues. He made the comment following talks with top European diplomats in Geneva aimed at de-escalating the conflict. And despite the meeting ending without any concrete breakthroughs, the foreign ministers from France, the UK and Germany say they want to see further talks with Tehran.
Mr. Minister, how are you, sir?
Iran's foreign minister arrives at a hotel in Geneva for close talks with his counterparts from Germany, the EU, Britain, and France. The Europeans are on a diplomatic drive to end the conflict between Iran and Israel, as the two continue to trade strikes thousands of kilometers away.
Please be seated.
The leaders sat down for a closed-door session. It's the first face-to-face meeting between Western and Iranian officials since the start of the conflict more than a week ago. 3 hours later, the Europeans emerged without any concrete results except a pledge for more talks.
The positive result from today's meeting is that we had the impression that the Iranian side is willing to keep talking about all key issues.
On the issue of Iran's nuclear enrichment program,
we were clear. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. We are keen to continue ongoing discussions and negotiations with Iran, and we urge Iran to continue their talks with the United States.
But Iran has its own red lines. After the meeting, Tehran said it won't negotiate unless Israel stops bombing.
Iran is ready to consider diplomacy once again, and once aggression is stopped and the aggressor is held accountable for the crimes committed. In this regard, I made it crystal clear that Iran's defense capabilities are not negotiable.
In the U.S., President Trump was dismissive of European efforts.
Iran doesn't want to speak to Europe. They want to speak to us. Europe is not going to be able to help in this.
Earlier this week, Trump said he wants to give negotiations with Iran a chance, 2 weeks to be exact. If there's no progress, he says the U.S. may join Israel's military campaign.
Hussein Banai is an associate professor of international studies at Indiana University, Bloomington, where he specializes in U.S.-Iran relations. And he joins us now. Good to have you with us, Hussein. Now, Donald Trump says he'll take some time to decide on the U.S. involvement in this conflict. What's your interpretation of this?
Well, I think he is indecisive at the moment, but is waiting for events to progress in such a way so that he would look decisive when he decides which way he wants to go. And that's been a pattern with his leadership so far on a lot of sensitive key issues, be it domestic issues, international trade, and now in the case of Iran and Israel's war as well. But I also think that indecision really stems from the fact that there are political factions at home that are divided about this within his own MAGA base. There are those close to him who believe that he should not get involved in another war overseas, and especially one that could lead to regime change when they're undertaking what they think is regime change at home here in the United States, reshaping American government as we know it. And those who believe that he should back Israel and it would signal weakness. And I think he's genuinely torn between those two positions.
One thing he's been firm on, though, was refuting the U.S. intelligence community, which said Iran was enriching uranium but not building a nuclear weapon. Trump says they're wrong. So who or what is informing his view?
Yeah, it's remarkable. I mean, I think he is very clear that the intelligence that he is getting is immaterial to what his ultimate decision is going to be. If there was a sense of urgency that he needed to act on, I think no amount of intelligence information is going to persuade him if it ultimately, the result is not something that's not going to immediately reflect well on him. And I think it was in that context that he shut down his own director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, on national television, saying she doesn't know what she's talking about. So I think he has looked at the intelligence, but he has also decided that the timing is not quite where it needs to be for him to look decisive.
Looking from the Israeli side, did Benjamin Netanyahu gamble, assuming Trump would join in with his attacks sooner?
I think it was a huge gamble. I think he had hoped that within a couple of days' time of Israel's initial attack, the United States, having seen the quick decapitation of some of the top military leadership in Iran, would be eager to join in and to act especially decisively against Iran's nuclear facilities. And the fact that that is dragging on is clearly not welcome news to Prime Minister Netanyahu. But it's a huge gamble in that if the ultimate decision is one that the U.S. will not get involved, I think we will see that Netanyahu will have this whole campaign will have been looked at as a huge strategic overreach, having really gotten too confident after the campaign in Gaza, for instance, and against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, to expand it now to Iran, but only to be able to hit a few military installations, not ultimately neutralizing Iran's nuclear program. So it's a huge gamble. What the events will turn out in the next week and a half, we don't know yet.
I mean, we've just been hearing from Israel's foreign minister saying that the strikes on Iran have delayed Tehran's potential to develop a nuclear weapon by at least 2 or 3 years. Do we then expect Israel to scale back, or will they just continue?
Well, I mean, I think those assessments are going to be tough to verify absent open, transparent international inspections. I ultimately think that this action was taken, if you listen to the official words of Prime Minister Netanyahu and Israeli leaders at the time it was launched, with the explicit aim of eliminating Iran's nuclear weapons program. So if they're committed to that mission, then setting it back by 2 or 3 years would only amount to a cat and mouse game or a game of whack-a-mole that I don't think would serve the objectives that they have broadcasted.
Hussein Banai, we appreciate your time and insights. Thank you very much.
Thank you.